Well, g'day everyone and welcome back to the channel. Tonight we are shaping the handle of the knife. And this is one of my favorite parts of actually making a knife. I'm turning it from an inanimate object to something that fits within your hand and it's made for purpose. Once that handle shape is on there, that's when it really becomes a knife. Up until then, yeah, it's a lovely working process, but the handle makes the difference for me. Alright, so what I'm doing here is just putting on some painter's tape, just a non-stick sort of tape, just to protect the blade as I'm working on the handle. And now some duct tape over the top of the painter's tape. It's an extra layer of protection. I have done it too many times where I thought to myself, yeah, I'm not going to touch the blade against the grinder. Every time I do that, I end up touching the blade against the grinder. And then I've got to clean the grinds on the bevels back up, and it is always a nightmare doing that later. And we shorten the pins off. I've got a little pair of bolt cutters. They're perfect for these little brass or copper pins, so just put them on there, give them a clip, and it just shortens it back. The brass and the copper both heat up pretty fast and they can duct the heat through, and I really don't want the glue exposed to too much heat, so I'll just nip them off beforehand and just grind them so I've got a nice flat surface. The same on the other side. Nice and flat. Now we go on to taking the rest of the timber off that we hadn't taken off before the glue up. So we're just working down the steel on the spine. Just working it down to get it there on the end there. Now I'm running the belt at fairly low speeds because timber will burn very quickly. That's the good part about having a variable speed grinder, is that I can just back the speed down and not have to worry about burning up the timber so much. Again, just taking it down to the steel, and now we start shaping the handle. I've got a little bit of angle from the tip to the back, and I'm working on the far side of the grinder so the blade hangs over the edge of the grinder as it comes around, and I'm just rocking it across. That's one side done, back across to this side. Now I'm using a coarse belt here. I'm using a 40 grit just to hog the material off and get the basic shape that I'm after. And you can see it's a wee bit even, so back on we go. At the moment, the back's the most important part. I can get everything else to match as we go along. I just want to get that back right. Back's now matching, front's good, top's good, bottom's a little uneven, so we'll just tidy that up, and then we'll put a little chamfer on the bottom edge just to make it fit better in the hand. Quick look and a feel, see how it feels. Come in, clean up the edges, quick check again. Looking good. Let's swap over to the 120 belt, and we just want to refine all the scratch marks on the steel and on the timber on the flat sections. Quick camera reposition, so hopefully you see it better this time. We'll put on a soft edge belt and just working on the curved sections just to try and smooth them off a little bit better than I can with the big flat belt. Now as you start with each sort of process, that's the longest amount of time you're going to spend on the process. So you just want to refine everything from last time, just get it to that state where it's nice and smooth and improved. So when we get to the finer belts, all we're doing is just buffing things up and fixing grits up. Okay, 220 belt. Off we go. And again, we're just fixing things up, just smoothing things off. So it doesn't take anywhere near as long with this 220 as it does with the 120. Okay, 220 flat belt, and we'll clean up all the flat sections. Okay, where I'm coming into that tape section, I'm just cutting a little bit higher each time, just so it's coming up and overlapping, so I get back to the 400 grit it was on. And now we're using the 400 grit of the slack belt and just giving it that final smoothing off. Okay, last part of our grinding process. You just go to the 400 flat belt and just bringing everything nice and smooth. Now I don't finish anything higher than 400 on a handle because I find it tends to get too slippy otherwise. Okay, across at the buffing wheel, and this is probably the most dangerous tool in the shop. If you're not careful, it will grab the knife and it will throw it away. I never ever do this with a sharpened knife, and I'm very careful about doing it with an unsharpened knife. So that's got plenty of wax on it, so I'm just running it through and just polishing up all that timber work. Just giving it a nice, beautiful, shiny finish. Okay, and there we are. We have a finished knife apart from sharpening. And I do not sharpen until after it has a sheath to go in. It's the last part of the process because I make them razor sharp. Right, now it's all finished. You can see why I flipped that piece of timber over. It is a beautiful little handle on it. Looks absolutely gorgeous now. Thank you very much everyone for watching. We will still probably do a quick sheath video on this knife, so probably one more in the series. You've seen the sharpening before if you've looked at these couple of videos, so don't be shy. Whack a comment below on what you think of the knife. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the little bell icon so you know when that little sheath video comes up or any of the other videos that I do. And again, thank you very much everyone for watching. It is such a joy to know that your videos give pleasure to other people. Bye for now.